A Man Called Otto is a beautiful and moving film. It's full of undying love and deep friendship and will reconnect you to your hope for humanity. You can sure tell that Rita Wilson loves to produce films. Listen to how she found this story and why she wanted to produce it.
And it came in the package. I read a little synopsis about it. Let's put this in and watch that, just like anybody does. And I was so taken by immediately the story that there was a depth to it, but it was also funny, and that I thought this would be an amazing remake, and that there was a guy sitting next to me who could be really good in the role.
Was that part of the appeal? I mean, you've played a wide variety of roles, but...
it could have been an extremely sort of like... I didn't want it to be a comment on the politics of division in the United States, in an American kind of thing. I didn't see Otto as being a cranky victim who was blaming other people for his state. I saw him as a man who had lost his faith in the future when he was not a widower, when he had the great love of his life. The future was always something that he looked forward to, because this woman, this person, was going to be there with him, and he was going to be dragged into a better life that he had, and without her, that's the vision that I saw, that he and it does start with him at an absolute sort of like the nadir of happiness. And the thing about America is that so often those loud and noisy people who move in across the street are the best thing that happens to your neighborhood. And even if
They bring life.
and I had lived in countless, I moved around a lot as a kid, and the great love of my dad's life is Chinese. Grew up in literally Chinatown, San Francisco, and it was the same thing for me. I just thought, I don't know who these people are, and they all know my name. And it ended up being such a convivial kind of place, and my life was made bigger because of it. And I thought, well, that actually is an aspect of the American story right now that is being demonized in many ways and is used as a stake for division. When in fact, I mean, come on, what's wrong with having somebody knock on your door and saying, "Are you okay?" or "Can you help us out?" That's
Yeah. Mariana Trevino blew us away with her performance. Here she shares her clear-headed audition experience. Then Rita describes getting Mariana's self-tape and why it was so successful.
And I got this audition material, and I was drawn to the content. It seemed, as Rita pointed out, very funny. One of the scenes was very funny, and that kind of bickering, with humor, that I felt it instantly, because the Mexicans were like that, we're bickering all the time, but with humor, and and so...
I'm glad you said that, because I'm not allowed to say that.
And I was like, yeah, this scene sounds like something I've lived. And then the other one was very emotionally honest, and it was an interesting thing to act. As an actress, I was like, oh, I want to say these words. I want to try to evoke these emotions in this little paragraph, and I just did it, and off it went.
She put it on the iPhone or an iPad, something like that, but she was alone in a hotel room. And this audition was as powerful as anything you have seen on that screen tonight. She created the world. She had imaginary Tommy next to her. She had a pot of something that she was holding. It was empty, it didn't matter. I imagined the food. She was talking to Tommy on the side. She was having a conversation, and then Otto opens the door, and she is now having a conversation with Otto. It was riveting. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. I felt that when you see something like that as an actor, and I think as actors, we know more than we think we know. We've been around sets all of our lives. We've been working all of our lives. We've had observations of how every department works. You can so appreciate when someone comes with their full game and with nothing to lose. And that's what Mariana did. And it taught me, and I learned from that, to not hold back into anything. Just go for it. The worst that they can do is say no. They're looking for a blonde or something. But go for it. I took the computer into Tom and I said, you have to see this. And it was Mariana's iPhone audition. And he's like, gotta get it.
I think we watched it 3 times
Yeah,
in a row.
we were crying.
Let's watch it again, let's watch it again, let's
Yeah.
watch it again. And, I said to the boss, the producers, well, can we just get her?
And we did.
The always fantastic Tom Hanks shows once again why he is one of our most beloved actors. Here he talks about the amazing opportunity we have to embrace self-tapes and make them great.
But with the technology of all of us as actors, being able to control the cadence and the tempo and the volume of these words, we get to essentially do 17 takes on our own. And this does put a force that has been taken away from us as actors, is now back in our hands to a degree. Now we might still have to show up and get the gig in person with a director on the other side, but I think that's an incredible tool to our advantage. That rather than showing them how tall we are and what color our eyes are and the complexion of our skin, we actually say this is the performance I would aim for.
Every single audition that came in was an audition that was on Zoom. We didn't meet anybody in person, and every actor was so good. That was an extraordinary thing to be on the other side of that, as I have been before during castings, to realize that the reason you don't get a job is not because you're not good. If you've gotten to that point, you're good. Francine Maisler had you come in, you're good. What you're looking for is something very, very specific, and sometimes you don't even know what it is, but the actor shows you what it is. And I felt that was a very satisfying and educational process. I've been telling actors that just do it. Take, like what Tom said, take control of your own destiny and do what you want to do, because if you don't get it, it's not going to be because you're not good. You're not going to get it for other reasons.
Auditioning like this at home gives us the power of our own close-up.
Yeah.
Because remember the old days, it would just be that bad VHS camera on the stand, on the other, the sound was bad, everything about it was bad. And on the other side of it, the producers don't like looking at those things either. Want to get it. But because we can bring those iPads in as close as we want and whisper lines that if we have to, the controlling of and this is what this woman did on this. She controlled the dynamics of a scene